Wordplay, no longer afraid. Activation of my DNA. My energy is grade A. Stepped into the gateway. On the other side was a payday. Ain't talking about no. Alright, let's get to it, baby. Part two. Part two. Part two. Part two. Part two. Part two. On my soul. Part two. Part two. Part two. On my soul. I'm not sure why I was fucking with that, but it was getting kind of funky in here. Alright, so let's get to it, right? Part two of Lucy. Oh shit, there goes the damn. I was looking for the light remote for the LEDs. I found it now. It's crazy. I was looking for it for like the last 24, 48 hours. So it's storming right now. So you may hear a little boom. That's just a little bit of thunder. That's my brother. Don't worry about that. All right, let's get to it. Where do we leave off at? I left a note in the thing. On the notes. I left a note on the note. Ain't that funny? I think last time we talked about her, she had to consume a large amount of CPH4 to rebalance out her body because she drank the alcohol, the champagne, started breaking down her body because the habitat, it was not something sufficient, so it started becoming self-sufficient and started doing self-management. The cell itself, which is the cell we are talking about, the cell being Lucy, is in the plane, trying to get her shit together. Cool. I know exactly where we're at right now. Bet. It's about to get majestic. Let's get to it. Disclaimer. If you already watched part one, I probably shouldn't even need to tell you, but if this is your first time coming across this video, then first and foremost, my name is Majestic. On my soul. Yes, it is. And then from there, it's MOU, so it's Mu. Alright? And get yourself a little bit of history lesson. Learn about King Mu and La Mu, the island. Tap in with that. That's part of me. Right? And then, disclaimer, or carry on into the disclaimer. If this is your first time seeing this video or coming across a cool motherfucker like me, I suggest you watch Lucy. Like the video so it goes into your liked playlist. So you can find the video after you've watched Lucy. You know what I'm saying? But do as you please. Because I don't want to tell you what to do. Because me, myself, I don't even like authority. You understand what I'm saying? So, with that being said, now that this disclaimer is out the way, we talking about everything that's happened in the movie, the deeper meanings of it, the esoteric truth, the esoteric knowledge, the hidden symbolism, all the shit that's hidden in the film that goes beyond the average eyeball. I'm the one that picks it up and brings it back to y'all. And hopefully after a while, you'll be able to learn how to do the same thing as me. And you'll learn how to watch and decipher your own movies so you can start grasping and picking up the messages that you are relaying to yourself, that you chose to relay to yourself, so you can remember that you are right where you need to be and everything is okay, baby. That was an accidental bar, but fuck what you're talking about. Let's get to it. So, left off from part one, her being in the airplane, going to the bathroom. She drank the champagne like we said. She started dissolving, started deforming, almost like alien-like type shit. She had to eat a big-ass consumption, a big-ass, what you call that thing? Dosage. CPH4 to recalibrate her body, recalibrate her mind, get everything right back to the frequency and vibration that everything was at. So let's resume. She wakes up in it's a hospital, but it's a police station. I don't know if it's a hospital or a police station or if it's just two in one. They're in Paris. So I don't know how Paris works. They may have that type of thing where they combine the two, or it could have just been the police station and they just, hired a nurse to come in there and do. I don't know how Paris do their things. So, but I know in America, we don't have that. They got police as a separate building from the fucking hospital, and that's it. So that may be how it is in Paris. So either way, she wakes up in this what looks like a hospital room. She walks out the room, right? Mind you, she's handcuffed, which means nothing to her, right? Because it's all in her mind at this point. She knows she has this mind power, literally. So she walks out the room. The Paris officer that originally handcuffed her, the captain, I forgot his name.
Starts with a D though, and it's French. So he grabs her, or he doesn't grab her, but he walks and asks her to put her hands up. And he basically pulls a gun out, aiming it at her. And the whole room is full of, you've got, well, the hallway that they're in, you've got officers and you've got nurses, doctors, patients, whatever, just kind of walking all throughout the hallway. Everybody freezes when he pulls out the gun. And she literally just makes them all go to sleep by simply waving her hand. At this point, I believe she's reached 40% capacity in her cerebral of her cerebral capacity. So she makes everyone go to sleep, and and then she removes all the bullets from his gun without even touching him. Right at this point of the movie, this is when you can say she realizes and she understands that she is the one that's in control of not only herself, not only of other people, but the entire environment. Yes, the environment, the entire scene shift when I step up on the scene. That's a lyric. So that's what came to my mind just now. That's why I was like, yeah. So just throw that out there. There be times I be getting like these intuitive thoughts that come to me while we be on this podcast. So when you hear me say thank you, or when you hear me say like something that's probably just random, and it just doesn't seem like it goes with what the podcast is, just understand I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to me. All right. So that's probably as simple as I can put it. All right. If you know, you know. That's all I gotta say. So with that being said, she understands that she is in control of her entire reality. Like I said, this is kind of the part where if you had to not compare it, what's that word? If you had to put it to a similar situation, we could put it in the Matrix, where Neo at the end of the Matrix, when he cracks the code and starts seeing through the binary codes, and they shoot the bullets at him, and he stops the bullets midair, and he realizes he's the one after all this time. After all this time, the Oracle was basically telling him, and what's that dude name? Morpheus. Morpheus was telling him, everyone was telling him he was the one. I feel like I just had this thought. The female, what was the female's name in the Matrix? Cause if her name was Lucy, that's some crazy ass shit. Hold on, I don't know why I feel like her name was Lucy. I might be tripping, but let me double check that. But we're gonna continue talking while I'm looking that up. Um, so when he realizes he's the one and he starts actually taking control of the environment, this is exactly what it reminds me of when she basically puts everybody to sleep. She takes out all of his bullets without lifting, well, technically she did lift a finger, but without putting in excess energy. You know what I'm saying? It took just a thought. Hold on. Let me type in what's old girl's name? What's that boy name? Neo's girlfriend. We're gonna put that we're gonna put that on so is. I hope they don't think I'm talking about the rapper Neo or the singer Neo. Rapper singers all the same shit. Trinity. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. So, with that being said, I see where I went, where the notes at. I mean, I got the notes, but I gotta find that spot because I just explained all that. So they get into the car. Her and that captain, the Paris captain, gets in the car, and she's basically looking at frequencies. And the way that these frequencies appear, you have to realize, even though they're both sitting in the car, they're both looking out the front windshield. they're both seeing two different things, right? The captain, all he sees is the windshield, the people walking. He sees the normal world, the normal world, right? Because ain't shit in this motherfucker normal, right? But Lucy, on the other side, she sees. She's not looking at the windshield. She's looking at the frequencies. It's almost kind of like the binary codes in the Matrix. The only difference is they're like not green. They're like bluish. There's red. Now, you could say the colors of the frequencies is based off a certain of the frequency of the conversation itself, or the colors could be based off of the vibration and the frequency of the beings who are having that conversation or who are on that similar frequency. Kind of like you call somebody and you happy. When you call them and you share your happiness with them, they'll be happy too, and vice versa. If you call somebody, you being sad, and then you tell them all their sadness, you share that sadness with them. Y'all both gonna be sad, even if they don't pick up on it consciously immediately. It's kind of the same thing. So I believe that's why that conversation with the Korean kingpin that she ended up pinpointing throughout all the other frequencies was red outside of all the other conversations that was going on, all the other frequencies that was covering that frequency, because they were blue. So it was on a higher vibration. And, blue symbolizes the conversations and communication, whereas red is more, it's your root chakra. So it's all about your fear-based state. And you got to think, the man who's done so much dirt and so much ruthlessness, he has every reason to fear anything and everything, because he knows unconsciously somehow, some way, shit's gonna come back to him. It's just a matter of time. So she pinpoints that, she finds that, she zooms in on that, and catches. She starts listening to the conversation between the kingpin and the his, I don't know what you would call that guy. It's like his number one guy, I guess you would go to get shit done. So whatever you call that, drop it in the comments so I can know the next time. So the scene shifts. The three guys that was with her, when they originally all got their stomachs cut with the CPH4 in their stomach, those three guys got rounded up and carried into a surgery room, and one of them is killed because he said he didn't feel well. So the Korean just like shot him, like he didn't care, right? So Lucy's driving. She's driving to the location where the other three are, and the officer says he's never been dead, right? Because she's driving against traffic. She's driving on the wrong side of the road. She's driving extremely quick, right? But she's making every move with precision, right? Because she's got a more active mind. So it's almost like she can predict. She's almost defensive driving, even though she's driving on the wrong side of the road. So, and she's using the defensive driving to her advantage to basically drive in offense without offending people. But don't like really give a fuck. She don't really care about offending other people, right? Because her only goal is to get to the other three people and to get those CPH4 bags before the Koreans get to it. So he said he's never been dead before, and she says, it's okay, we never really die anyways, which is, I want to say it's true, and to an extent, I know that it's true, right? But I've also never experienced it. But I do know for a fact that our bodies, like this shit that you see me in right now with my face and my hair and all that, even though it's as beautiful as it can be, right? It's not mine. And neither is yours. You're renting this motherfucker. It's a long-term rental agreement. Like when you rent an apartment, when you rent a house, when you rent a car, it's the same thing. The only difference is the payment. The form of payment is not money. It's your energy. It's your thoughts. It's your positivity. It's your growth. You know what I'm saying? What you're putting into it. And that's not just your food that you eat, but the food that you listen to through the radio. Is it music? Is it a podcast? Is it whatever you like watching, listening to, or is it what you reading, what you watching? I already said that shit. Social media, you get what I'm saying? All this shit. That is your payment. And based on what you are paying your body will determine the length of your rental agreement with your body. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, and because after that, because we never really die, the soul continues living. This is why you have beings who come to this planet in so many different forms that they almost seem too smart for their age, right? But age is not a thing. It's a concept that everyone believes in. And because everyone believes in it, right, everyone is putting their energy into believing this concept that it exists. The same thing with money. Money has absolutely zero value. Like zero value. The only reason it's so valuable is because, again, majority of the humans on this planet put their energy towards believing that it's valuable because it's an illusion. Money being valuable is an illusion. It's always been an illusion. Time is just an illusion. But hold that thought, because we're gonna come back to that time, right? Because this movie had me questioning that very statement that I just made, right? This movie had me questioning that very statement that I just made about time being an illusion. Everything that we typically believe to be true is just an illusion, right? And this goes back to what she was talking about when she first started talking to the professor and said she has no fear, she has no desires, and that basically her body, her mind is moving all the obstacles out of the way, because they were just all illusions to begin with. The only obstacles that you have in life are the ones you create yourself. Just crazy, but not really. So just like your rental agreement with your body, it works with everything else. What you believe in is the energy that you're paying, no matter what is going to. If you think you the coolest motherfucker on this planet, you're paying to that agreement. In which case, eventually, it has to become true. So long as you believe it, or vice versa. If you believe everything that they say on the news, if you believe everything you see on the news, which is kind of funny, because look, as a kid, one of the many punishments I had as a kid, because I was so bad, right, was I had to watch the news. Like, I don't watch no fucking news. I want to watch cartoons. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then see, this go back to that time when we talked about how the body and the mind adapts to anything and everything, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing. So my mom was like, "You can only watch the news, right?" I'm like 8, 9 years old. Like, I don't watch no damn news. So I was like, "Fuck, I don't watch the news. I can't watch nothing. I might as well just watch the news." And I ended up adapting to the news. I started telling her about what the fuck is going on the news, right? And to the point where the news was no longer a punishment. But see, the thing is, when you believe what you see on the news, that becomes your reality. So this came from my mom, who always told me everything that you see on TV is not real. When I would tell her about superheroes flying, or fucking like Too Fast, Too Furious, when Brian jumped over the, what was that boy name? I don't even know the dude name, but I know the car he's driving. The dude he jumped over the damn Supra, the brown Supra, the golden Supra. I was like, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Or if I see some crazy shit on the game, like, I want to do that. Like, that's not real. Everything you see on TV is not real. But vice versa, at the same time, she's contradicting herself without realizing she's believing everything she sees on the news. It's funny. It's funny. Everything's funny. And that's how you gotta see life. This shit is all funny. It's really all a game. It's all an experiment. It's all an experiment. And it's just a matter of if you could catch up back to yourself. Yes. I think we got off topic, but it's okay. We're gonna come back to the topic. It's okay. So, you heard how I said so? Everyone said so. Hold up. So she gets the third pouch. She gets there as they kill the third guy because there's another Paris policeman who's not the captain. He works with the captain. He goes to get lunch and leaves. So when he leaves, that's when the Koreans originally come in and they start the surgery on taking out the bags. So when that policeman comes back from the lunch, he doesn't even know that they're in there. So when he comes in, it's kind of just an automatic shootout. And the guy that was supposed to go to Rome, he runs out the building or out the room, because he still got the CPH4 in his stomach. He's the only one who hasn't gotten cut open to get the bag out yet, for them to retrieve the bag yet. So when he's running down the hall, the Korean dude shoots him in the back, and he slides basically to the bottom of Lucy's foot. This is Lucy's arrival. So from there, she tells him, give her the suitcase, give her the briefcase, and give her CPH4. And he laughs and basically said in Korean to kill her or something like that. And he tried to walk away. What she did was plant some type of like force field, some type of like block, almost like a mimes, where he couldn't even walk any further than what he was. So he had to just stand there. So all the guys, all his like little bodyguards start to basically aim their guns at her, and she like counteracts the gravity to where it's almost like the ceiling becomes a magnet, so it snatches all the guns out their hands, so they can't do nothing but fight her with their hands. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like she deactivates via gravity, and each person that she walks towards, they just float in the air. They can't do anything about it. And then I believe she not froze. She didn't freeze the Korean dude that had the briefcase, but it's almost like she made him freeze. But the only thing that he could move was like his hands. Like he could only move his internal body, his internal organs, and like shit like that, in his eyes. But he couldn't move his physical body, right? Because he was looking at her, he was making facial expressions and shit. He was still like kind of shaking, but not shaking out of shock, shaking as if he was frustrated because he was trying to like stop her, but he couldn't do shit about it. And then she gets the briefcase and walks away. Well, she gets the briefcase, she gives it to the captain, tells him to hold it open. He opens the briefcase, and then she takes out the last bag of CPH from the guy that was supposed to go to Rome. So after seeing all this, right, she's done all this herself. The captain policeman from Paris, says he doesn't think he can really be of much help to her. So she says, "Yes, you are." He says, "How?" She kisses him and tells him he's there as a reminder. This is her reminder of love, right? This is her reminder of love and her reminder of feelings. So, because you have to remember, she said previously in the movie, the more, the less she felt human, the more the knowledge would come to her, right? And all the feelings and things were fading away. So it's almost like she had to sacrifice being the feelings of a human or being a human to become this fucking practically a computer, right? Because that's what the mind is. It's just a computer. So, and we're just like I was about to say CPU. It worked just like social media. You know what I'm saying? With the algorithms and things, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you use, right? Because I used to single out the elder community that they don't even use social media, but that's Facebook. Like they use Facebook. They use Facebook. What you look at and what you interact with, the more and more and more, that's what you compute in your algorithm. And your algorithm is going to begin to continue to show you more things in that similar relation to what you've been interacting with. So the more you say, damn, I love money, you keep fucking with money, the more money opportunities come to you. The more you say, oh, I have a happy, loving, harmony or harmonious relationship, the more of that you experience. The moment that you start talking about the negative side of it, and you start focusing on negative shit, the more you are paying your energy to the negative sides for them to give you more of the negative algorithm. This is it's the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's all you. It's all your mind. Because your mind is the computer. That's why it's mind, body, and soul, right? Because even though your mind is the computer, your heart is more powerful. Right? Because the computer is electronic, right? So it can't necessarily feel. It can only go based off of history, right? And past experiences and logic and all these other things. You know what I'm saying? The heart is where you can feel your intuition. That's where you can feel your intuition, your gut feelings. That's when that mouse trap that she had seen, but she didn't get that, she didn't understand that intuitive insight that she had within herself. That's where your heart come in. So when you combine the heart with the computer and your spirit or your soul, however you want to look at it, at that point you are then in synchronization, complete synchronization with yourself. And if you're in complete synchronization with yourself, you are in complete synchronization with the universe, which is really the multiverse, right? But they call it the universe because it's all one. That's where you get that uni from. Mm-hmm. And then that capital U is because it's you. You get what I'm saying? Come on, stop playing with me. I know you know. I know you know. On my soul, you know. So where we at? I need to like start double spacing these lines, bro, so I can like not get stuck trying to find where I left off at. Okay, bet. So they drive to the university where the professor is at, and the the professor tries to introduce Lucy to all his other scientists. It's like 4 or 5 scientists in there. She's like, I know who everybody is already, blah, blah, blah. She cuts that shit short. So then he introduced the scientists to Lucy instead. And one of the scientists was like, well, how do we know if this is real? So she puts her hand on his shoulder, right? Energetic transference right there. Again, that she demonstrates. And she says, you had or let me see. She tells him about his daughter who is 6 years old who got hit by a car. So she tells him he had that 6-year-old daughter. She got hit by a car, and she tells the details of the car, which is basically it's like a blue car that had something plastic hanging from the mirror, from the rearview mirror, and it was a very detailed, informed, I guess you could say a channeling that she revealed to him, and I say evacuated. What's that damn word, bro? He became emotional. I didn't want to say that. It was so fucking basic. There was another word I had. It starts with an E, but he became it activated emotions within him, like an emotional trigger within him. Basically letting you know that yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? You don't even need to open your mouth and say yeah, that's okay, that's true, because we can tell just from your reaction. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. Kind of like, when people they be holding ownership and then they be going around it until they actually go straight into the actual problem, and then they start crying and shit because they're letting it go. It's like similar to that. Only thing is he didn't really cry, but he had to like shakes and shit, you know what I'm saying? The little deep breath like a little kid, like when a little kid finna cry and shit, he was doing some shit like that. He was doing some shit like that. So they start sitting down. She starts basically explaining what she's experiencing and all the things that's happening as each as the cerebral capacity for her keeps increasing, and she senses the energy of the Koreans coming. So she asks the Paris officer the Paris captain to secure the premises so she can stay focused. The scientist asks, how does she get access to certain parts of her brain? So this is when you have that the interconnectivity with the matrix, where she says electrical impulses, right? But this is where it's differs, right? She says every cell communicates with each other and they exchange information between each cell at 1,000 bits per second. So cell groups group together, they form a giant web of communication which forms matter. So, and that cell can take on they can take on one form, or it can deform and reform. So what this kind of makes me think of, if you want to put this into practical perspective, if you're talking about cell talks to cell, think about the amount of cells that YouTube reaches when somebody has 1 million views. You know what I'm saying? Even me just talking to you all on this podcast, when we're talking about one cell to another cell to another cell. So let's view cells as human beings. Each human being on this planet represents a cell. So if that's 8 billion cells, we start with one cell, right? You start with one cell and you talk. Say I call my brother. That's another cell. I tell him something. He tells that same thing to someone else that he knows. That's a third cell. Then this other person tells him the third cell, and then it keeps going on and on and on until it's reached about 130, cells. And then it continues spreading. And then somehow, some way, someone ends up saying, hey, let's put this all together. And it all comes back down to everyone who's like, hey, we got to call up and get everything back together and group together. Now it's a group. Now we've got an organization. This organization is now in the part where she says cells group together to basically form a giant web of communication, which forms matter, which think about everything that's been built on the planet. It came not from one person, but a group of people networking. You understand what I'm saying? You got another way that this happens too. It happens between the tree community, where all the roots connect under the ground, regardless of what you see on the surface, right? Even if there's a house, you got these neighborhoods, right? And they got these little trees that, even though there's a tree, you got two trees right across the street from each other. Even though they appear separate, they are connected under the ground. Because once you break up that concrete, that pavement, what's under that? It may be a little bit more concrete. And then after that, you going back to the soil. Once you go back to the soil, what's under that soil? All kind of motherfucking connections. This is why the tree that I may fuck with and chill with, on this side of the planet, say we in Canada, is still connected to all the trees in the motherfucking forest in South America. Because there is no separation. That's an illusion, right? So she basically takes this concept and knows how to use it internally for herself to be able to do the forming and reforming and deforming, and be able to change her hair color, her hair length, her hairstyle, just genetically by doing that. Then she says humans consider themselves unique, so they rooted their theory on uniqueness, but one is their unit of measure. 1 plus 1 never equaled 2. In fact, there are no numbers or letters. It was codified to make it easier for comprehensive understanding for the human mind. So again, this basically goes back to everything that you see is just basically an illusion. Nothing that you see is real, even though it appears real. Nothing that you see is real. Your mind and your thoughts are the only thing that's really real. I can tell you how powerful your thoughts is. I've how do I word this so you can understand it? Because it's about to get real trippy in this motherfucker, right? About to get real majestic. It's about to get majestic. On my soul, it is. Okay, so look, your thoughts are so powerful that sometimes when you have a thought and you believe it so much to be real, you think it'll happen, but it never happens because you have to remember it was a thought. What do I mean? Okay, so that don't make no sense, right? So I just had a dream. Really, I didn't just have a dream, but I had a dream about 5 years ago, a lot of dreams about 5 years ago, where I'm experiencing exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? This is why I'm able to say, like, okay, the deja vu. What is deja vu? Or it's just when you remember somebody, right? Somebody told me when you experience deja vu, it's because you're not doing something different, right? I think that was to really throw me off my path. I ain't gonna hold you. I feel like they were trying to fuck with me, right? So I was like, fuck them. I gotta find my own meaning of it. What is really deja vu? That's when I started paying attention. I started really having so many deja vus back to the back to the back to the back to the point where I stopped worrying about what the fuck was gonna happen because I was like, eventually, sometime throughout this day, I'm gonna remember what the fuck was going on. So at this point, deja vu is when you become conscious. So, you know, when you have a dream, you wake up, you can't remember what happened, right? And then you have the dreams that you do remember when you do wake up. Those dreams that you do remember that feel super duper real is because they are real. So, what happens is you have that dream, you experience that dream in that world, in that reality, in that parallel reality, only to experience it however long later it is, however long it takes you to start following your soul. When you start following your soul, when you start following your dreams, that is what they mean when they say follow your dreams. It has nothing to do with you with these big ass goals and these big ideas of success or anything like that. When they say follow your dreams, it literally means follow your dreams. Then you will start experiencing that dream. You will get to that point in time in your journey where you experience that dream. And that very moment you became conscious in that dream, however long ago it was that you had the dream, that is your deja vu. That's your reminder. Make sense? Shit kind of scary, ain't it? On my soul, it is. I ain't gonna hold you because I used to trip out when I was having so many recognitions. That's why even on certain podcast episodes, actually, I think F1, when we did the F1 podcast and when we did Sonic, both of those podcasts, while I was in the middle of recording those podcasts, I remembered the moments, right? I remember certain moments of me talking about that podcast. I remember the moments. I remember the desk. I remember the lights. I remember everything. Even the apartment that I'm in right now, I remember from a dream. So deja vu is when you become conscious in the dream and then you experience that same kind. It's almost like when they intersect, when the parallel realities intersect, kind of like the past, present, and future, they're not separate. They're all the same thing. They're all one. They all exist at the same time. It's the same thing. You've existed on this wavelength before. So when you become conscious and you hit that deja vu point in your waking life, that is the moment that you became conscious in that dream that you had years ago. I hope that makes sense to you. If it don't make sense, shit, start following your dreams. You'll understand what the fuck I'm talking about then. All right. So back to this. How did we even get on that? I don't even know how we got on that, but it was easier to codify for the mind. So the professor asks what coverts everything if the humans aren't a unit of a measure. Lucy responds saying time. So now I was like, time. Time's not real. Fuck me. Ain't no such thing as time, right? Then she says, time gives legitimacy to existence. It's the only true unit of measure. And it gives proof to the existence of matter. Without time, we don't exist. And then Professor realizes that time is what unifies us. So that's the part where I was like, okay, time is not real, but at the same time, it could be. But is it an illusion, right? Because if you think about it, how would you understand your evolution of growth, you know, if you didn't look at time? Even when I talked about the my initiation and how I had to go into awakening and experience what I experienced before I had the so-called awakening. Even then, there was still time. That still took time. If I look at how I am now to compare to how I was then, it's just time. That's the only difference in my mindset. But then you've got times where I've experienced myself being in the spiritual realm where I was like so deep in my head and deep in my thoughts, not in a bad way, overthinking, but more so like actually having a full on conversation with myself about all kind of shit, not worldly shit, we'll say that. And thinking I was gone, I thought I was gone for like an hour, because I was at work when it happened, and I was so I thought I was gone for like an hour, and then like something like made me come back to the planet and come back out my head, and I looked at the clock, and I had only been talking to myself about 7 minutes, but those 7 minutes felt like an hour. Those 7 minutes on the earth, right? 7 minutes of earth time felt like an hour in my head. So even then, you could say time don't exist, but somehow, some way, I still use that unit of measure to correlate the difference of time and how it works in the spiritual realm compared to physical world. That's also another reason why they'd be like, you can meditate for 5 minutes and still be okay. Because like shit, if 7 minutes is damn near 45 minutes an hour, 5 minutes is probably like 30 minutes in the spiritual realm. You feel me? Dig what I'm saying? So let's get to it. Back on the motherfucking subject, which is, it's really all interconnected though. It's all interconnected. So, Lucy says she's going to basically give him she's going to put all her information that she knows on her mind in the computer. So they start setting her up to do that, to be able to prepare her to do that. She's got 4 IV bags full of the CP4. I think they liquefied it and like did the little the like injection, not like, you know what I'm saying, the injection shit, like they like, yeah. You know what I'm saying, shit. If there's a doctor in here, you know what I'm saying, explain it for him. But put the like little needles in her arm and she absorbed it that way. And the professor is basically afraid of the amount of the doses that Lucy's consuming. Her response is that she has to basically crack open the cells to their nucleus and force them to be open to taking that 100%, to be able to open her cerebral capacity to the max, to 100%. So the professor says he doesn't think mankind is really ready for the knowledge that she has because it may bring instability and chaos. Lucy says ignorance brings chaos, not knowledge. So what happens is she plans on sacrificing herself in order to pass on her knowledge. And once she absorbs all the CP4 through the IV bags, she has like this bright ass light beam come out of her mouth. And this could be, it could be a lot of shit. It really could be a lot of shit. I'm not gonna hold you. It could be symbolic of your light, your mouth, your voice, your words being beacons for others, depending on how you use your word. It could be symbolic of her light starting to crack through her body. Like the light is so bright it's cracking through her shell, through her vessel. Like the body can no longer hold it. It can't contain it no more. Is what else could that be? I mean, it can show you the power of the light. It can show you the force of the light. It can show you the frequency of the light. It's really a lot of shit, but it's all dealing with the light. So this light beam comes through her mouth. Her hands turn into this kind of substancey like black thing, like venom, the little parasite that venom looks like before he chooses a host to be with, or even the same thing from Spider-Man 3 with the black Spider-Man. That's kind of where her arms and hands turn to. And they kind of look like roots at first, and then they just start spreading all across the entire lab. And she starts looking for information on or energy to transfer her energy to the computers for her information, right? She realizes none of the computers they're not smart enough. None of the computers are smart enough. None of the computer technology is advanced enough to even hold the capacity of her knowledge. So she destroys those computers and she removes the illusion of the university, and the room becomes white. Kind of like that part in the Matrix. Remember at that moment when he first took the pill and the room became white. So the whole room goes white and it's only the scientist and her. Also, this is significant because you have to remember, with the whole entire room being white and she's white, she's got on a black dress, her arms have turned black, she's got on black shoes, and she's sitting in a black chair. So this is still that balance. She's still, even though shit's kind of funky right now, it's a lot of balance going on at the same time. It's a lot of which one is white? I don't know if I think it's the yin. I think it's yin. That's white, the yin and yang energy, right? And so this would be symbolic of the yin energy, where it's all the white, and she would be the little black dot. So, and you also got to see, because if it's yin energy, that means it's masculine energy. If it's masculine energy, this is demonstration of her taking action, right? She's taking action to deliver her knowledge to the computer. But at the same time, the balance comes because her feminine energy is activated and she begins to create a new generational computer that's able to hold the information that she is transferring for her. So as that's happening, the Korean guys, they having a shootout with the Paris policeman and the captain, which they end up shooting an RPG at the door that Lucy and the scientists are all in. Oh, anyway. And when it makes impact, this is when Lucy is launched deep into her mind. See, the first time I watched this, I was like trying to figure out what was going on. I was like, okay, did she disappear? Did she teleport? What's really going on? Right. So I watched it the second time. I realized she just disappeared deep into her mind. Remember when I told you, when you start going on these high frequency journeys and you start going into these different dimensions, it's not that you physically leaving the earth, but you are mentally leaving the earth and you are going into higher dimensions. This is what makes you a multidimensional being. You can tap into any fucking thing in this planet as long as you literally put your mind to it. That's what they fucking mean. It sounds so cliche. I know it sounds so basic, but that's what it is. Damn it. Like, I can't tell you any other way. I've experienced it. I've done it. That's all I can tell you. Put your mind to it and you'll do it, right? There's obviously necessary steps that you have to go through, and your body, your soul, and your mind will guide you through that. Your heart will guide you through that, through those necessary steps to get you, to help you achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve on the mental plane. But as far as dimensions, this is like right here on Earth, this is 3D. Then you got the 4D. That's like the gap. That's the gap in between the 3D and the 4D, or the 5D, right? The fourth dimension is like the bridge. That's like kind of like the in between, but not the bad in between. It's like you in the process of transferring. You're going through the transformation. You're going through the ascension process. That's the 4th D. or the fourth dimension. Once you hit the fifth dimension, that's when you see you on that frequency of love. That's when everybody else is completely different. You see everything vibrating different. Yes, we all on the same 3D planet, but we still moving differently. This is why you are able to have people who are walking on all kind of different dimensions, even though we're all still on the same planet. That's why when someone talks to you and they're talking to you from the 12th dimension, the 11th dimension, they sound fucking crazy as shit, right? And it's not that they sound crazy as shit, and it's not that some of the shit that they're saying is unfactual, but the fact that because they're on a higher dimension than you, you're obviously not going to understand it. You're not on the same wavelength. Versus if somebody on the fifth dimension came to talk to you and you was on the fifth dimension, you understand everything that they're saying. You're like, oh, boy, we must be family or some shit. Like, da, 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 da. Like, yes, we must be family because we all the same fucking being. A little bit like my comment. Thank you, a little bit. Follow a little bit on TikTok. so, so with that being said, she is launched deep into her mind, and basically what she's doing is she's projecting herself into different times in reality. Time travel is real. It is not the way that you think it is. The time machine, that bullshit that they always show on the TV is fucking false. It's bullshit. It's an illusion. Okay, that's one of the things Mom was right about when she was like, everything you see on TV is not real. Okay, that part she was actually true about. It was right about. Right? Time machines do not exist, though they're trying to make simulations of it, just like they're trying to make simulations of everything else. What do you think skyscrapers are simulations of? The simulation of trees. When you go into an actual forest, a real forest, they taller than a bitch, you like, oh my God, they're so tall. What you do when you go into a big ass city, a metropolitan city, Houston, motherfucking San Antonio, Dallas, Florida, I said Florida, Miami, motherfucking what's another damn world? I say world. You know what I'm saying? Fucking you know what I'm saying? All these big ass cities, man. New York, that's what I meant to say. New York, Manhattan, motherfucking LA, Seattle, wherever it is that you go, all these cities, all these big ass metropolitan cities that's got millions of people clustered into one fucking small area to make it seem like we don't have that much space on the planet when there's so much damn space in this planet and so much space in the forest. What you doing? You walking, you going like, wow, this city's beautiful. And yes, it is beautiful, right? But where did that beauty come from? It's not natural beauty. They copied. They simulated. Same thing with this fucking phone. It's telephone. What is telephone? Telephone, telepathic communication. We didn't need phones back then. Come on, bro. Stop playing with me. I feel like, hey, stop playing with me, bro. Just know, everything that you use is a simulation. Everything that you physically use is a simulation of something that you can already do with your own mind and your own head. Phone, telepathic communication. The skyscrapers is the trees. Fucking bathtubs, water, rivers. We used to bathe in rivers, oceans. Anything that you think of. Matter of fact, that's your assignment. Comment something down there below. Challenge me, please. Challenge me. Because I want to grow. Also, I want to grow. Show me something. I want to be wrong. Show me something that I could be wrong on so I can understand and realize that I was wrong so that I can actually grow. That's going to make me happy. Mm-hmm. Comment something down below that you use that you think is not a simulation, or you can't figure out if it's a simulation of something that you can already do with your mind. The car, go ahead and take that out your vocabulary. I'm about to break all that shit down to you right now. It's the Merkaba. You travel wherever, fucking right here, just Lucy. Lucy's traveling everywhere, right? That's your car. Your mind is your car. Like, I wish I could go to the beach. You fucking picture yourself at the beach, and you fucking there. But see, the problem is you don't believe you're at the beach because you're looking at your surrounding physical area. This shit is not real. That shit is not real. It's solid, but it ain't fucking real. I knocked down my lighter, but I'll pick that shit up later, right? It's not fucking real. This shit is make believe. It's all make believe. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. The moment when you close your eyes, if this shit was so real, why is it when you close your eyes, you don't see nothing but darkness? If it was real, you should still be able to see with your eyes closed. You should be able to know exactly where you're at. You should be able to describe exactly where everything is. You shouldn't have to study everything and then do it. You should be able to walk into a place, close your eyes and like, oh, this is there, that's there, this there, that, blah, blah, blah. every single, I mean, to the detail. You can't do that. You can't prove it to me. Why is it I can close my eyes? The moment I close my eyes, you are no longer in existence to me. The only thing that's showing me that you're there is your voice, the sound of your voice, the vibration of your voice. At this point now, I can pinpoint if I even fuck with you or not, right? Because I'm no longer looking at you physically. Now, the only thing I can depend on is my hearing. And hearing your voice. How does hearing your voice make me feel? Now you bringing in your heart. Now we got off a little topic, but I'm gonna bring it right back, just like this. Check me. Bring it back. Time travel is in your fucking mind. I've done it before, twice. You know, Squire Boone. If you don't know Squire Boone, look him up. He's a folk. Is he a folk hero? I'm not sure if he's a folk hero. I want to say he's a folk hero though. But I looked up. I was living in his life. In fact, I believe I was playing his character for a little bit, for about 2 or 3 weeks, right? Well, how do you know this? Well, I'll tell you how. First off, stream Knight Rider, right? Stream the song Knight Rider by Majestic Movie, by me, right? And why do I tell you this? Because this song is about how that happened for me. That entire song is me experience is describing that experience of when I time traveled, and not only time traveled, I shifted timelines into the time to his timeline to experience what it was that he was experiencing without realizing that I was experiencing. This is when I realized these angel numbers that you're talking about, 555-222-333, those are portals, baby. Them is portals. And his portal, the number that I kept seeing, it wasn't those numbers. It wasn't 222-333. Every number that you see is an angel number the way that you choose to see it. You're the programmer. You're the programmer. So I continued seeing this specific set of numbers over and over and over and over. Then I was like, I wonder what the fuck that means. Lo and behold, 2 weeks later, I find myself becoming afraid of the police, right? And I had dropped this fear so long ago because I was like, why am I afraid of the police? I have no reason to be afraid of the police, right? So I finally shed that fear. And then I started noticing that fear coming back. So I was like, why is that fear coming back? Suddenly, every time I see a cop, now I'm getting anxious. Why? What have I haven't done shit. You know what I'm saying? There was a couple parking tickets that I didn't pay. I was like, I can't be worried about that. Of all things, why would I be worried about that? You know what I'm saying? So I'm over here trying to figure this shit out. And then my inner child, this is why it's important to be in tune with your entire inner trinity, your masculine, feminine, and your inner child. My inner child was like, hey, let's go to these caves. I forgot how I even found out about the caves. We was like, let's go to these caves. It turned out these caves is named after Squire Boone. So I talk about that also in the song Jutom, right? That whole song Jutom is French for I love you, right? That whole song is my inner child. It's written to my inner child, so stream that as well. I believe they are both on the same album. Both on We Need to Talk. I'm gonna put the album down below. Stream that motherfucker and tap in with it so you can see this shit is real. So we get to this cave, right? And the guy, which is kind of funny, my tour guide's name is Virgil. So it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. Of all tour names, your name couldn't have been Tom. It couldn't have been Matthew. Couldn't have been Brandon, Bradley, Solomon. It's Virgil. I've never met a Virgil in my life. Not once. And your name is Virgil. You look up the name of the meaning of the name Virgil. Mind you, to get to these caves, I wanted to say caverns. I don't even know if that's the same thing, but to get to these caves, you have to pass the police station in that little town. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird, right? He takes me through the entire tour, and then he takes me to his casket. He takes me to Squire Boone's casket. This is when he tells me the entire story of Squire Boone and how he found the caves. He started using the cave system to move water and transport water and all this other shit. He started having issues and problems with some type of debt. He owed some type of debt for his house, I think, or for his land, some land that he bought. He wasn't paying the debt back, and the police was about to arrest him for it. And somehow some people came together, a bunch of cells came together and organized and paid the debt for him, or helped him pay the debt, or they helped bail him out of jail. One of the two Something like that happened. You can look it up, Squire Boom. And then from there, we came back to the surface of the earth, right? Because we were 90 feet below the earth at one point in time during the tour. So we came back to the surface of the earth. Just came back to the surface of the earth, go on about my day, do a little hike, you know what I'm saying? Chilling. We're going back home. Like, cool, that shit was fun. Get stuck in traffic. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Why? So I start writing a song. This one I'm in the middle of writing Night Writer. Still not really understanding, still not processing. I was just like, that shit was kind of fun though. And then something happened where I ended up driving downtown. I was driving downtown and through the city, through the big ass metropolitan city, looking at the simulated skyscrapers. And I was at a red light. I was talking about the day to myself. I was reflecting. And then I fucking realized angel numbers are just fucking portals. We was in a whole nother dimension. Why did I know that we was in a dimension? Because when I had that realization, I could truly, literally feel my entire soul jump back to my original timeline and out of Squire Boone's timeline. And immediately that fear of that I had at a cop, that anxieties and shit, that shit faded because it was never my fear. That was his fears. So when I jumped into his timeline, everything that he felt, experienced, or thought, it came to me. Do that make sense? Do you understand that we are all in one? So because we are all in one, it does not matter what you identify as. It doesn't matter what your name is. I might give a fuck about your name. That name don't fucking matter. It's not even real. It's imaginary. The universe don't identify you by name, it identifies you by frequency. So how did you do that, Majestic? Oh, you matched his frequency. And then you was able to shift timelines. Yes, exactly. You're fucking tracking. Time travel is fucking real. How do I time travel from 2024 way back into, I think it was, when did he die? It was like 1964, maybe. Honestly, it might have been even before that. It might have been further along that. I haven't tapped in with that name since that time because I was like, cool, that's crazy. Because after that, I was like, I need to be a little bit more careful about what I really want to find out because that shit was it was a journey, right? All of that happened in the process of about like 3 weeks where I was in this whole different portal. Okay. So time travel is real. It is in your mind. Every time you think about the past, you time traveling. Every time you think about the future, you time traveling. The more you stay time traveling in the past, the more you start to attract everything that happened in the past. That's why you start seeing the same shit that you had in the past. The more you in the future, the more you start tripping because you don't know what the fuck is going to happen because you have forgotten to come back to the now. You can't create the future in the future. You got to create the fucking future in the now, baby. And then you will understand. Unless you follow your dreams. At that point, start following your dreams, you'll just start fucking realizing, you start pinpointing shit. Shit'll become so not predictable, but you'll just be like, you'll start realizing after you've realized that you was dreaming and that you're living your dream, you're literally living your dream. Once you realize that, you start seeing everything that happens is supposed to happen just the way it is. Every little detail, from the people that you interact with to the stranger who stands outside the street while you talking to somebody that you love, to the red, blue, green, whatever color car that drives by, that's all a part of the process. To when the light changes yellow and you stepping out the car or you stepping out the gas station, every single fucking detail is supposed to happen as it is. So, with that being said, she time travels. She time travels from the university through where they first showed the chimp. She time travels to New York, present day New York, all the way back to when they first started building New York, all the way back to the ancestors with the Native Americans, right? And mind you, when she's traveling, None of these people, when she time traveled to the present day New York, nobody's seen her. Why not? Because they weren't on the same frequency as her. They were too distracted with their simulation, with their scripted roles and their scripted jobs. Right? Fast forward or technically rewind all the way back to whenever they started building New York originally, even the little what's that little, I don't know the corner building in Manhattan, but Peter Parker used to work there. Peter Parker used to work there when it was Tobey Maguire and Peter Parker was, Spider-Man, and he was always taking his pictures of Spider-Man to the little corner, the little triangle shaped building. You know what I'm talking about. You gotta know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then fuck, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what it's called. I never knew what it was called. I just know that's the place that Peter Parker used to work at. All right. So time travel to that when they was in the middle of building that, even then, nobody was still on the same frequency as her. By that time, everybody was still tapping in. That was when the simulation was beginning, damn near, right? But when she time traveled to the Native Americans, they was on the same frequency as her. They seen her. She time traveled to the chimp. They seen her, or the chimp seen her. Why? Well, you notice when she time traveled to Native Americans, they were still following the laws of nature. When she time traveled to the chimp was still following the laws of nature. So when she touches the chimp, right, this is an energetic exchange. When she touches the chimp, first off, it reminds you of Richard when Richard said the very first female was named Lucy. It was a chimp. So that's that, right? So it's Lucy meeting herself for the very first time, her original self, before she started evolving. Do that make sense? And when I say evolving, I'm talking about evolving through all her lifetimes. So she reaches out her finger to touch the chimp, and when she touches the chimp, the touch sends her to before Earth was made, sends her back into the cosmos. So after as she's uploading the information and her cerebral capacity is reaching 80%, 90%, you know what I'm saying? She's beginning to turn black. The energy is starting to turn black on her. The little things that look like venom, that's starting to go up her skin now. It's no longer just only on her arms. It's now on her or her fingers, but it's going up her arms, it's going up her legs, and it's going up her face and neck. And so now she's creating, or creation comes from the darkness. That's basically what that symbolizes. And then you've got another balance of yin and yang, right? As she hits 100% capacity, she vanishes. Also, right as she vanishes, the Korean guy tries to shoot her. We can't because she vanishes. She's hit 100% capacity. Her wounded masculine, which is the Korean guy, tries to kill her, but he ends up getting killed by her healed masculine, which is the Paris officer, the Paris captain, the one that was supposed to be there to remind her of love. So you have another foreshadow of love still being stronger than hate, than chaos, than negativity, right? Fun fact: when you piss, not really, when you shit, that's so like physically, right? You're letting go of waste, right? That you ate. But on a higher level, on a spiritual level, that's also a way for your body to get rid of negative energy. It's like grounding. It's a way to detox the body from negative energy that you've absorbed. So think about that next time you go and have a seat on the toilet. You know what I'm saying? And let it go. And for an even more fun fact, that's why it stinks. For spiritual levels. For spiritual level, the more your shit stink, the more negativity that you are actually pushing out your body. How you know that, Majestic? Experiments. Experiments. Supposed to have experiment with yourself. Goddamn, it's fun. once you get the hang of it. So once she vanishes, she shifts into the computer, and she like puts all her energy into that new computer that she built up, and basically hands the professor a flash drive. So after the officer has killed the captain has killed the kingpin, the wounded masculine energy, the kingpin. He asks, "Where is she?" Talking about Lucy, and Lucy responds to him through his phone and says, "She's everywhere." What does this mean? It goes back to the you are everything and everything is you. I am this wall. This wall is a version of me. The phone is a version of me. The phone that I've got the notes on is also a version of me. The microphone on my shirt is a version of me. This King Tut is a version of me. The metals, the lights, is all you. It's all me. It's all us. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you gotta remember energy is matter, and matter and is energy, right? And energy is everything. Everything that you have, anything that's created, anything that's said, anything that you do, anything that you think, it all takes energy. You know what I'm saying? So the movie ends with her saying, "Life was given to us a billion years ago." It opens like that and it closes with that same line. The only difference is this time that she says, "Now you know what to do with it." What does that mean? Right? The movie ends with her saying, "Life was given to us a billion years ago." It opens up with her saying, "Life was given to us a billion years ago. What have we done with it?" Now she's closing the movie with, "Life was given to us a billion years ago. Now you know what to do with it." What is she talking about? She's talking about passing on the information and knowledge. She's talking about passing on the information of self-discovery. She's talking about passing on the energy, passing on energy. Shit, goddamn that too. That's not what I meant to say, but shit, I'll work with it. I'll work with it. All right. To share the knowledge, you have to share what you know. That's the whole purpose of us being on this planet, right? Which is why I said the entire the overall message of the movie, I would say, is unity, not unity, finding your purpose. Because that whole time she was trying to figure out what she wanted to, what she was trying to, what was she supposed to do with all this information? She's got all this information, she's smartest motherfucker in the world, but she don't know what to do with it. She had to find the purpose of her, using her knowledge, which was what, to share it with the professor. And the professor is going to do what, right? The cells are communicating with each other. She's communicating with the professor, one cell to another. From there, the cells taking that information and he's sharing it. He's communicating with other cells who are then going to communicate that even further. So that was fun. That was fun. So yeah, that's Lucy. Like I said, a lot of it, I feel like a lot of the information was packed into the last like 45 minutes of the movie, and the rest of the movie was just like little seeds, little splatters of paint. Like, here's a little bit of information here, there's a little bit of information here, just to keep a motherfucker on their seat. Just be like, "Man, I'm getting bored." And they're like, "Okay, here, take that." And then they get quiet, like quiet enough just for them to watch, last couple more minutes, and they're like, "Here, more paint splatter," make them, chill for a little bit. And then, right as you like, "Bro, this movie boring, blah, blah, blah," that's when they hit you with all the fucking information at once. They're like, bang, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Here a little action, here a little RPG, a little crazy. It was crazy. I ain't gonna hold you. I was interested the whole time because I was fucking with it, just because I'm interested in the brain. I like the brain. So I was fucking with it, but you know how some folks be a little impatient. But we ain't even gonna focus on it. Fuck them. I ain't gonna hold you. Still love them though. But with that being said, that's Lucy. That's what I got from it. That was my take from it. That's the perceptions of it. That's the esoteric meanings of it. That's the hidden knowledge of it. The hidden truths of it. The symbolic meanings of it. I hope you learned something in this one. Not everything that I said in this is black and white. It's not verbatim. It's not. There's more to it. If you see more to it, if you can see more to it, then my friend, do that. All right. shit, comment it if anything. You know what I'm saying? As long as you comment it in a respectful way, because like I said, if it ain't respectful, if it ain't positive, 9 times out of 10, you probably not gonna get a response from me. You know, I might even just block your ass. I don't know if you can do that on YouTube. I'm sure you can. You can do it on any other app. So I'm pretty sure that's probably what's just gonna happen. I'm just gonna block you, remove you out the way, move along. You know what I'm saying? And create space for the next person who's actually here to be positive. So, with that being said, catch y'all in the next movie. I know the next movie we're gonna do. I'll surprise y'all with it. It's similar to Lucy. So it'll be a lot of I'll do a lot of correlation between those two movies and also the Matrix a lot. Right? And then I've got 2 other movies on deck. Look, we ready. There's a lot of fucking recording I gotta get to doing. There's a lot of uploading I gotta get to doing. Damn, it's a lot of uploading I gotta get to doing, but it's gonna get done. It's already done. That's the thing about it. It's already done. Just a matter of me remembering. It's like you. Everything you did in your life, you've already done. It's just a matter of you remembering how you did it. Right? So I hope you had fun on this. I hope you stuck through the whole process of this part 1 and 2 of Lucy. If you just met me, cool. Don't trip. We got a lot more to talk about and cover, and a lot more movies to cover. If you got a recommendation for a movie you want me to watch, I'm gonna get to it. Just know it's like what? I got 3 movies lined up right now that I've gotta rewatch. So just understand if I see it, I'ma like it, I respond to you. But you know what I'm saying, when that movie gets posted, it's gonna be a couple weeks from now, right? Just so you know, like, don't expect me to just jump. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all planned. This shit's planned out. So just gotta stay according to the plan and make sure I execute the plan. Goddamn it! And unless the universe like, hey, jump off this plan, fuck with this plan real quick for a little bit. Like, all right, bet. Let me see what you're talking about. Because 9 times out of 10, it's probably better. So, like I said, you got a movie you want me to, or you want me to break down for you? Drop it in the comments. I'm gonna link Knight Rider and Jutom in the description, so you can listen to both of those. Right, Knight Rider being the story of how I recognized that I was a multi-dimensional being. That was the first time I actually just like understood that and felt it and experienced it myself. Jutom being a song about my inner child and basically my entire inner child just kind of just doing his own thing. All right, that's gonna be in the description. I hope y'all had fun. I had fun. Shit kind of got majestic. That's what we're supposed to be doing, though. That's part of this whole entire channel. That's why I tell you it's about to get majestic. You know what I'm saying? Because when we dive deep, we dive deep. We're not just diving 5 feet deep. We ain't diving 12 feet deep. We're going past the Olympic pool, baby. I'm trying to go down there in the Mariana Trench when we dive deep, right? So just make sure you can swim. That's all I ask. Just make sure you can swim. Make sure you have fun. Make sure you keep your mind open. And don't leave the channel until you learn something new and shit. And when you learn something new, don't leave the channel. Stay. Bring some more friends with your ass next time. On my soul. All right. Peace and love. I'll see y'all in the next video, baby.
Burma boots, big shoes, all wins, don't lose, just choose and watch the magic light up your fuse. Trust in yourself, boy, I give you cahoots. Plant my feet, let me ground my roots. Oh, excuse my apologies, I need to express gratitude.